Today we're talking about something that gets misunderstood, twisted, and judged constantly: sex, power, and rock and roll. But let me be clear, this episode is really about sexual autonomy and sexual exploitation. And there is a difference, a big one, if you know what I mean. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dangerously Honest with me, Lorraine Lewis. Thank you so much for tuning in last week to episode 1, and we're going to keep on rolling. Last week was a lot of fun, but this week it's a little bit more personable. We're talking about sex, baby. When people talk about sex, power, and rock and roll, they usually assume something was done to me, something happened to me. But the truth is, I was never put in a box where I had to be overtly sexual. There were things that the label did that surprised me, things that weren't approved by me. But I've always been in your face and about sex, power, and rock and roll on my own terms. I mean, that is rock and roll. Look at Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics. Unapologetic, in your face, a total badass. She'd wear electrical tape over her nipples. She probably didn't think it was sexual, but let's be honest, it was hella sexy. Not because it was about sex, but because it was about freedom. That's the difference. Women like Tina Turner, high heels, short skirts. She had freedom, commanding a stage like a red-hot banshee. Diana Ross, sexy, feminine, powerful as hell. I still remember that Central Park concert in the rain. Epic. That's sex, power, and rock and roll. None of it was about being exploited. It was about owning the room. Lita Ford, Joan Jett, commanding a stage, present, confident. That is sexuality at its finest. And that, motherfuckers, is rock and roll. Now let me ask you a question. Does that mean that sex has been used as leverage in the industry? Absolutely. We've all seen it. We still see it. But for me, it came from a place of being true to myself, feeling free, having fun. And that's still where I come from today. I believe in expression. I believe in entertaining. And whenever that involves, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the max. Not halfway, not safely. I go past 10 when I can. Artists like Youngblood, and ask yourself, is he trying to be sexy? Or is he just damn sexy? To me, he's just free, being a rock god, saving rock and roll. Let him be. And all that brings me to my segment, The Red Flag Files. There's a lot of them in the industry. Let's get to it. This week on Red Flag Files, here's a big one, something I want to talk about: industry pressure disguised as opportunity. If you're a young artist, especially in your teens or 20s, you have to be careful. You need people around you who actually are supporting you, because boundaries can get blurry really fast. But here's the truth. When you're grown, when you know yourself, when you're running your own ship, you get to call the shots, and that is power. Being in control of your body is power, and it's your choice. Some days I like being flirty and sexy. Actually, all days I like being sexy and flirty, but sometimes I tone it down a smudge. But here's the point. I get to decide what I want to be when I want to be it. That's the difference. Let's get rid of those red flags forever. And now it's time for 5 questions with Lorraine. This is where I answer questions from my raindrops, meaning you. If you want your question featured, send it in. This is a judgment-free zone, so bring it. Let's get into it. Okay, this question came in from Jamie in Los Angeles, California. How do you know the difference between being empowered and being exploited? That's a great question, and I'm going to break it down right here. This might sound crazy, and I'm not into threesomes. I've never done one, but this is what I will say. If you have a boyfriend, a husband, or a friend pushing you, coercing you into a threesome, that's exploitation. If it's your idea, that's empowerment. Plain and simple. Question number 2 comes in from Raven in Atlanta, Georgia. Did you ever feel judged by other women for owning your sexuality? Wow, now that is a great question. And hell yes, I still feel that from women everywhere. Back in the day, not so much, funny enough, but more recently, yes. For instance, joining OnlyFans, I definitely have had friends and family turn away from me, meaning women in my family, friends that I've had for years, and they have turned on me because they don't think what I'm doing is right. But I will tell you, for me, it's right, it's fun, and it's who I am. So, na 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 na. This next question comes in from Nicole from Toronto, Canada. Hello, Canada. I love you. What advice would you give young women entering the music business about sex and image? I have just a few things to say about that. It really comes down to being yourself, owning your truth, and being who the F you are. If you are trying to be Madonna, but you're more like Avril Lavigne, it's not going to work. Like, if your true self is Avril, it's just not going to be authentic. So I think the biggest thing is the word authenticity. Be your authentic self, whatever that is. Sabrina Carpenter, she's all about sex. She's all about owning her power. That's who she is. She makes no apologies for it. And it's working for her because it's honest. So authenticity, honesty means power and freedom. Be yourself. Next question, Alexis from Texas. Thank you so much for sending this in. Question, have your views on sexuality changed as you've gotten older? Well, first of all, we don't use the word older ever. We are all about energy. So as time has passed, have my views changed? Yes, they've changed a little bit. I believe in freedom and self-expression even more today than I did when I was 28 years old. So yeah, it's changed a little bit. I just want to be me, be myself, be free. If you dig it, great. If you don't, keep scrolling. Next question, Marco from New York, New York. Hey, New York in the house. I love New York. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to get out there again. Question, do you think the industry has actually changed, or does it just look different now? Great question. I don't know exactly what you mean by this question, but I will say, as far as financial, I think that the music industry has changed tremendously. Advances are different. Publishing deals are different. Streaming, you don't make any money streaming when billions of streams are coming through for someone like Snoop Dogg, and he's not making very much money. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how all of that works, but I would say financially, the industry has definitely changed. And I will say, someone like Nuno Betancourt, it was beautiful to see him win a Grammy last week, because he's been in the business for a very long time, the band Extreme. He teamed up with Youngblood on this amazing song, Zombie, and he won a Grammy, and it is long overdue. So it seems like these artists who have been performing for so long, they're now getting their due. So the bottom line for me is stay in there, never give up, never stop. That's the answer for it. So that's how it's changed for me. Did that make sense? I hope so. If not, send me a message and let me know. Do you have a question that you want me to answer? Please send it in to Dangerously Honest with me, Lorraine Lewis, and it just might make it on the air. Closing today, I do want to thank you all for joining me for this episode of Dangerously Honest with me, Lorraine Lewis. It is great to have you here, and I think we learned a lot today. I hope that my life and my message really touches you. I'm really talking from my heart and my gut and my soul. These are experiences that I've been through, things that I've learned along the way, and I hope that it helps you in some way. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Sexuality isn't a problem. Control is, when someone else decides what you should be, what you should wear, how you should move. That's exploitation. But when it comes from you, that's power. Bottom line is, you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you express yourself. Own your body, own your power, own your choices. Be yourself, own your presence. That's rock and motherfucking roll. If this episode spoke to you, please share it. Follow Dangerously Honest with Lorraine Lewis on iHeartRadio. And remember, freedom is sexy. And I'll see you next time. Mwah. XOXO.